Hello chess lovers, Sonnen here, and this is game Veselin Topalov Judit Polgar. The game was played back in 1996 in Russian city Novgorod. Topalov opened up with e4, to which Polgar answered with c5. Sicilian defense is on the board, and then black goes for Taimanov variation. a6 bishop d3, black is expanding on the queen side, and after the exchange of knights, white castles kingside, bishop b7, a3, knight f6, rook e1. By the way, let me tell you that the game is long, it lasted for 60 moves, and I will try to keep this video as short as possible by going quickly through the lines and through the game as well. So, black is deciding to keep the king in the center of the board and is trying to organize an attack on the king side. The bishop is hanging, it retreats, and then we have f3, which was met with an aggressive g5 move. White didn't dare to accept that pawn sacrifice, played a4, but bishop takes g5 is pretty much playable, although after knight g4 you should not go for bishop takes e7, because this can lead to a smothered mate. That's why I just play f takes g4 and then rook f1. Once again, this is a playable line, but in our game white decided to undermine opponent's queenside pawn structure. g4, f takes g4, d5. Meanwhile, black keeps on playing very aggressively, but turns out that this pawn push is weakening her position. Bishop c5, bishop e2. Now the threat is bishop takes g4, that's why we have knight f6, e5, knight e4, and knight b4. After which an exchange of bishops on d4 followed, and we have a structure which reminds me of French defense. Knight goes back on c2, rook c8, rook a b1, queen a7, bishop d3, and rook g8. Turns out that this is a mistake, since white's intention is to go for a5 and then rook b6, it's better to play bishop c6 attacking this pawn. And now a5 can be met with bishop b5. You can't win a pawn because in the end of the day your knight will hang. So at this point bishop c6 is the move, but Polgar played rook g8. a5, white is securing a nice outpost for his rook, and there it goes, we have rook b6. The pawn on a6 is now hanging, and so black is late with that bishop b5 move. Anyways, bishop b5 was made, and after bishop takes d4, d takes e4, white landed a heavy blow. Ready? Well, the move just asks itself to be played. We have rook takes e6. In case of f takes e6, queen takes e6 is coming, and black is losing one of these rooks. In our game, after rook takes e6, we have king f8 and queen a3 check. King g7, rook e7, rook c7, after which we have the exchange of rooks. Knight e3. So let me tell you that white has a winning position, and yeah, this exposed king has no chance of surviving. Also, white has powerful central pawns and now is hurrying to make use of it. Queen c3. A discovered check can be a threat, that's why black moved away the king from the vulnerable diagonal. Meanwhile, white is coming after this pawn on e4. Bishop d3, d6. How to stop these pawns? Just no way out. h4, rook c7, hitting on f7, rook b8. The rook wants to infiltrate opponent's camp, and the pawn on f7 drops. So all the time Polgar is trying to add fuel to the fire. Currently she is fishing in troubled waters. e6. Now if I move like rook b1 check, then either king f2 or even knight f1 is possible. But in here Polgar found a very beautiful continuation, and she played... Can you find her next move? Yeah, she played queen takes e3. Looks very nice, and actually it requires a precise defense from white side. Rook b1 check, and now what? How to proceed? Ready? This time it was Topalov who sacrificed his queen. Queen c1. How do you like this beauty, guys? Let me tell you that other continuations are losing by force. King f2 can be made with a checkmate, and if queen e1, then check. Another check. If here, then e3 is winning, yeah. If d7, then rook a2 check followed by a checkmate, or after rook e2 check, if king g1, then anyways e3. If here, then rook e1 check. This is a very nice line. Let's take a look at it. Check. New queen appears on the board, and then how to stop white pawns. Queen takes a5, e7, check. This is almost a study-like position, you know, guys. King takes f7, d8, queen, check. Queen takes e7, and if you win white bishop, then another check, then one more check, and black is forcing the exchange of queens, after which this pawn escapes. A very beautiful forced line. This is how, again, black can win. That's why in here the only move which is allowing white to win is queen c1. Some call this Mitrofanov's deflection, but I won because it's more like of a square vacating sacrifice. After rook takes c1, king f2, already there is no checkmate. White has this king e3 move. Now if, for example, rook f1 check, then king e3, and if here, then d7 is winning. A very nice resource for white. Black played rook c6 and rook d7, bishop b5, king e3, coming after the pawn on e4 as well. Just no way to make a progress with the black pieces, you know, just no way to stop these pawns. It's white who is winning. Extra piece is nothing in here. These pawns are too strong. Black gave some desperate checks, but then white king found a shelter, and then we have d7. At this point, Polgar decided to give up the bishop, but even this can't help her. Here, Judit Polgar resigned. If here, then king d8, and then you are covering your king with the rook, and the pawn is hurrying towards the 8th rank. White is winning. Let's go for another promotion. You all know, right, that I love under promotions, and this is how white can win. That's why enough is enough. After king e8, Judit Polgar finally resigned. But this was a fighting game, of course. I really liked that queen e3 check by Polgar, and then came rook b1, and in return it was Topalov's star which shined, and we have queen c1, and this is how white prevailed. Very impressive game, and I'm sure you enjoyed it a lot. In the end, a chess puzzle for you where the task is to win with the black pieces. As usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.